Are you ready to ramble? Happy March. March 6th to be exact. I had to look up the date before this because I have no idea. I'm constantly forgetting. Them's the breaks, I guess, when you're at home with your child and not working on an actual schedule in an office where you're looking at a calendar all the time. So anyway, yep, happy March. I think hopefully that spring is coming. I mean, it's been rainy and crappy, and I'm hoping the snow is behind us. That would be fantastic. And I'm going to get right into it today. The baby's sleeping. And okay, so what a week to try to do a social media detox, right? They keep throwing everything at you. This week was wild. So everybody is so skeptical of everything right now. Me too. You have to constantly look at things and be like, and research stuff. And then you have Jim Carrey that threw the whole internet through a loop because of his face, his mannerisms and stuff. And how he looked, I don't even know about like the eye color, what he had or whatever. But I was kind of keeping up with some of the comments. The rest I just threw out because I'm like, this has no bearing on my life. So, but anyway, monkey on crack initially. So, I mean, I think he just had some facial stuff done. And, the only thing I want to say about that is he has stated before that, Jim Carrey, like his whole persona is something that he created. And he's talked before about, like when he was mentally ill, people in Hollywood and his agents and stuff were like, keep that because that's when you act the best. And it's like, what if Jim Carrey just woke up the next day after those film awards? Was it BAFTA? I could be wrong. I don't even know. But anyway, those film awards in France. What if he woke up and saw all this stuff and it was like, listen, I just wanted to become more myself. These fans are like, oh, he'd never do this, he'd never do that with his face and stuff. And the things he said, well, people can change their mind. Sheesh, So anyway, maybe somebody was wearing him as a skin suit. I don't know. But I really don't think so. I think that, he just had some facial work done and maybe he's just tired of putting up a front and he's not an actor anymore. So he's retired. He could do what he wants. He's still painting as far as I know. Anyway, everybody was in an uproar over that. And I like I said, I was into it for a little bit and then I was like, throw it out. But when you see your country going crazy, you tend to pay attention. So that was interesting, right? We're like, they're saying we're not at war, but we're like at war. And what a freaking mess. So anyway, I won't say any more about that. But yeah, what a week to try to like detox. And yeah, I failed. I didn't fail majorly. I did better, but I have a really hard time because I have high expectations of what I know I can achieve and what I can focus on. And even being neurodivergent with ADHD, it's hard for me to reel it in, but I still set those high expectations. And yeah, I did not do that great with all this stuff with our country going on. I did not do that great because I also want to be informed, at the same time. And I've said that before where I can be informed, but I can't get on something too much because I obsess about it. So I still was able to put the kibosh on that, but not as much. But I'm definitely informed. Woo! That's great. Anyway, that's it on that. And that is something I want to go into, expectations. So something that I did find, and I've heard this before, I never knew who did it because I am not a big Shakespeare follower who said it or wrote it, but expectation is the root of all heartache, William Shakespeare. And that's something that hit me for expectations. It's something that has hit me a lot throughout my life with having high expectations, not only for myself, but whoever I'm around, whether, it's a boyfriend, a spouse, parents, mother and father, sister, brother, friend, coworker, anything like that. I've always had really high expectations because I hold myself to a high standard, even though there's a lot of times where I can't reach it, like I've stated, but it's something that you can get very, very hurt on, and I want to talk about that a little bit, and I don't have all the answers. When people fall short and it continues over and over and over again, like you keep going back and expecting a different outcome, you just keep getting hurt, and it's like a sort of grief that takes over. You don't want to think, oh, I just don't care. I'm not going to hold anybody up. I'll never be disappointed. You know how people say that. Like, don't even, it's like, don't expect the sunshine because then if it rains, you won't be disappointed. Like, it's not like that. You can hope for the sunshine, but if it rains, you're not broken. And I have that kind of thing with the expectations, where if I expect something and it's not how I want it to be or how I expected this other person to act, and it's just like, and it's a continual thing. Like I said, it's a cycle. When you go back and go back and go back, it finally gets to the point where it's heartbreaking. I really believe it's work that you can do inside of you and find a happy medium between that. Kind of like the analogy with the weather, where you're not absolutely destroyed by something that you really put a lot of hope and intention into. You thought the day was going to be beautiful. You planned this whole thing, and then it rains, and it rains the next day and the next day, and maybe there's a tsunami or a hurricane or something, and you never get to that point, and your dreams are shattered, and you keep trying to plan it, and it keeps falling. The bottom keeps falling out, and all you do is get hurt over and over again. And I think there's a time not to per se give up on things. Like you still have this coworker you need to work with, or you still have your parents. You don't want to cut your parents off. You have to find that medium, and that is what I just wanted to talk a little bit about that today. And I know other people feel that way. You've got to, because you're never the only person that feels one way in the world. No matter what, that is something you can hold on to. You can hold on to that even with the country all over the place, with political parties splitting and everything just exploding. And you can hold on to that. And you don't have to just cut everything off. There's a happy medium where you're not just destroyed. So anyway, like I was talking about with boundaries, you need to give yourself some kind of leeway instead of setting yourself up for failure every single time. And I think that also comes down to maybe working on yourself. Maybe we can look at this together. Let's help each other out. Look at ourselves and see where we can propel ourselves. Bring the expectations down a little bit at the same time. Don't throw them out, because for someone like me, I'm a very passionate person. And that's where any emotion that I feel is very passionate. It's a very heavy emotion. So when I'm upset, I'm destroyed, and it gets to a point where I'll try not to be, and I'll be like, all right, I already know I have this issue, so I'll override it and override it and override it, and then I'm still destroyed in the end. If you're like that, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Are you a passionate person that just sets yourself up for failure? I don't think that's a flaw. Don't get rid of that, but I think that we can work around it. Like I said, I don't have all the answers. So, what else was there? I think that's something that could help all of us in the mental health area, and depression and such as well. And teach our children that too. That's something that I really want to get a handle on for my daughter, and I think for future generations, but don't be apathetic and whatever, and, black and white and cut these people off or whatever. What else was I going to talk about? This is definitely a ramble today. I'm so tired, man. I don't try to put on a front. I do not sleep well. And man, I did not sleep well last night. So let's see. Yeah, we were talking about expectations. So that's something that definitely work on is expectations of ourselves. Find a happy medium. And don't be destroyed when someone else can't meet you where you're at, because they might not be able to. And that just might be something that you have to understand and work around so you're still happy. You know? So there's that. Also, Goose got neutered this week, and he threw up in my car on the way to the vet. He was so nervous. Poor guy. He's doing really good. It's still there. I left it. And talk about expectations. So with someone normally, I mean, you have all this list of stuff you need to do. What's most important? I think most normal people, neurotypicals, can be like, this is most important. Let's do this. For me, everything is just as important as everything else. So that dog puke is just as important as me feeding my child. I mean, that's kind of a stretch, but it's just as important as me going to the restroom. Like, this is more important than that. I don't know if you get my drift of what I'm saying, but the dishes are important because of, I've got to feed the baby, I've got to do all this stuff, but it's like, but yet I have to clean my car out, I have to do this, I have to do that. Everything is on the same level at all times, and it is blazingly loud. And so I'm trying to just be like, screw it. I'm really trying not to curse on this, because you know something else is coming. Screw it. So yeah, there's still puke in my car. It went down the side. It missed the blanket that I had on the seat, the towel. Went down the side. I think it's mostly on the plastic, and thankfully it was like water and stuff. But I'm like, you know what? Not important. The other thing that's not important, my vehicle. It needs to be washed so bad. I pulled it out in the rain this week, and I'm like, you can get washed that way. Because here's another thing that you want to hear about me. I am scared to death of going through a car wash until I go with somebody, like an automated car wash. I am so all over the place when I go. I could use a power washer. I've used a power washer so much, when in some of the jobs that I've done. I used to clean trucks off when they would come in to be resold, like a trade-in at a job I used to have. So I'm not afraid of getting dirty or anything, but I get dirty. Like, if I will go to a car wash with with the power washer, I'm not going to wear good clothes. And most of the time I only get out with the baby and I'm looking decent, So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend the money on that right now either. And I'm like, well, maybe I should just spend the money. And if I'm going to go through the automatic car wash, no, I've never done it myself. I'm too afraid. I'm not confident. I'll probably wedge it in there. I don't know. I'll do something stupid and aloof because Amanda's not paying attention. So I won't go through the automatic car wash until somebody goes with me. That's a nice little quirk of mine. So I pulled my car out and I just left it in the rain. So I'm like, you know what? Expectations, it is what it is. You can judge me. I'm going to continually wipe my license plate off. I actually have a paper towel where I can just wipe my license plate off when I leave. So until everything thaws out better and I can drive up and wash it myself, because I hand wash my vehicles, then we'll talk. So anyway, yeah, a couple of things that I kind of let go, and I did let some other stuff go too. Like, I like to try to have all my dishes done in the evening, because you hear all these people like I think it was Mel Robbins, who I love. Like, I really like Mel Robbins, but there's some stuff that does not work. It's like you have all this stuff done at night, have a clean sink so you're ready for the morning. That's all well and good, but when something goes sideways, or you get like 2.5 hours of sleep, maybe 3, because you're in fight or flight and you can't sleep. When something like that happens and you're just so tired, stuff like that doesn't work because the expectation is I have to have my dishes done before I go to bed, or I'm going to be behind in the morning, which is absolutely true. But that will work on you so bad. It's easier for me to just be like, leave it. Happened last night until this morning. I laid in bed for like, I don't know, 6 hours, something like that. And I'm like, I got dishes in the sink, and it's like, I don't even care. We'll just do one step at a time in the morning, and that's just going to be how it is. So anyway, mind you, my daughter is really, really good. She sleeps mostly through the night. She was only up one time last night. It's all me. I'm the problem. What was that song? Me, hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Yeah. Oh, I know who that. I can't think of her name right now. I'm not a huge fan. Taylor Swift. Just not my cup of tea. That's all. She's absolutely astronomically talented. So anyway, I think that's all I got. I am working more on these. So I got that, and then I have another one I'm working on. I'm not going to show you. I'm doing all these like sketches. They're like about an hour sketches that I'm going to do a series of on acrylic paper. They're going to be pretty cool. It's they're more passionate. They're more free. I don't, what I sketch out on there, there's no other sketches. There's no nothing. It's an original. It's on there. It's not perfect. I don't care. It's like a quick deal, So I am working on a second one of them. And then this weekend, I'm going to get in the studio. Last week, I was in there Saturday and Sunday, which was great because then you can kind of get into the flow of things. You can get a lot of stuff done. But this week, I have got nothing done in the studio. It just has not worked. And I'm like, lower your expectations. Just do what you can. Okay? God. So anyway, all right, I think that's it. I'm going to go see The Bride, hopefully. I don't know, maybe this week. We'll see. It really all depends. But you all know I'm huge into Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, and I'm interested to see the take that Maggie Gyllenhaal put on it. So anyway, all right, thanks for coming to my ramble, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.